There's only one thing a friend of mine years ago taught me when I was coming up, and I was deciding if I was gonna do this, if I was gonna pursue this this life. And he's an Indian friend of mine, and he said, "Ab nahi to kab." And I think that means if not now, then when. So whatever you want to do, ab nahi to kab.
So after that fight when I lost, and I'm looking at all these people and they're all celebrating my demise and saying I'm done and this, and it certainly lit a fire under my belly. Every single person doubted me. Every single fighter doubted me. Doubt me now.
Emotions come and go. The important thing is to accept them all, to embrace them all, and then you can choose to do with them what you want versus being controlled by emotion. You know, a lot of times I've seen players, even myself, you know, when I was younger, being consumed by a particular fear. And to the point where you're saying, okay, nah, it's not good to feel fear. I shouldn't be nervous in this situation. Like, nah. And it does nothing but grow versus stepping back and saying, yeah, I am nervous about the situation. Yeah, I am fearful about the situation. Well, what am I afraid of? And then you kind of unpack it. And then it gives you the ability to look at it for really what it is, which is nothing more than your imagination running its course, you know?
If you ask people what they regret, especially as they get older, what they generally report is things not done. So they don't regret so much mistakes they've made, although of course people obviously regret mistakes they've made as well. So they don't exactly regret sins of commission. They torment themselves for opportunities that had presented themselves that they did not, let's say, exploit or engage in.
You're doing this for you. And this is something I've only realized relatively recently, but after a certain level of material comfort, the only person that you need to do this thing for is you. Your conscience knows when you're being honest and when you're not. I think optimizing to make that person happy, that conscience happy, is a really good idea. There's this quote from the ancient Greeks that says, live as though all your ancestors were living again through you.
You have to be able to push through these hard times, but you also have to realize that there is a legitimate tactical advantage to grit. There's a legitimate tactical advantage to being mentally resilient and tough and showing up and giving everything that you have, especially on the days where everybody else quits.
The biggest lesson, life lesson that I've learned is the power of the mind, and just how important it is to look at yourself at a high regard and to believe in yourself. I think in order to paint a bright future for yourself, you have to be able to see it in your mind. You have to believe in it, and the more you believe in it, you know, the more your world will start to change, and the more you'll just start to, you know, see your beliefs come to pass.
Imagine that you're in a movie, and imagine the movie begins now, and you're the hero of the movie.
Yeah.
What would that guy do?
Yeah.
What would that guy do right now?
Yeah.
Because you are.
I do think mental strength is the number one thing that you can have to succeed in life. It's not about how hard you can hit. Life is about how hard you can get hit, get back up and keep moving forward.
If you wrote a book right now about your life and you gave it to someone, would it change their life for the better? If not, you gotta get to work.
So many people want to project their idea of what they think your life should be like onto you. And it's just completely irrelevant. It just doesn't matter. I fundamentally am like, you are gonna die and you're not gonna matter, and I'm gonna die and I'm not gonna matter. So why do I care about what you're gonna say when you're not even gonna show up to my funeral?
It doesn't matter if they're laughing. It doesn't matter if they're making fun. It doesn't matter if the weather's bad. It doesn't fucking matter if you keep executing, because eventually you will find yourself in the place you set out to be.
The more discipline that you have in your life, the better your life is gonna be. And there's absolutely no question about that whatsoever. Is it easy? Nope, it's not easy. Do you always want to do it? Nope, you don't always want to do it. Does it always prove out in a short-term basis to recognize the benefits? Nope, doesn't work that way. You can go to the gym today, you're not going to notice it. In fact, it might even be negative because you might be a little bit tired and a little bit sore. You will see no changes in your body, you will see no changes in your health in one day. Not even really 4 days, not even really 7 days. But if you're consistent and you're disciplined for a month, you're going to start to see some noticeable things. 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, right on down the line. Like everything that you have discipline with will get better over time. And so discipline equals freedom.
There's a process to all this stuff, man. The process starts with, you gotta shut off technology. You gotta go here. So go to that dark place. I call it the dark room, where you're alone. No cell phones, no music, no TVs, no computers. You by yourself. Very few people want to be alone anymore. They want to be around noise and people, and you can't think. Be alone. Go to that dark space. In that dark space, people go, I don't know what I want to do in my life, because it's too loud. That dark space, you may need to spend years in that dark space, months, whatever it may be. Find your purpose.
The more time you spend alone with yourself, the more time that you will be able to understand who you are. When I mean understand who you are, I'm talking about without any outside interference, without any friends, without any peer pressure of wanting to be like someone else. The more time you spend alone, you're gonna figure out what your purpose is. And I say that because of this. God will talk to you. You start seeking in those moments of not having any outside distractions. What happens is things become clear. Clarity sets in.
The Lonely Chapter describes a time in which you're growing, you're changing as a person, and you're now so different that you can no longer resonate with your old set of friends, but you're not sufficiently developed that you've got the new set of friends that you're going to grow into. And this is the Lonely Chapter. And the problem with it is that the desire to sort of regress back to where you were is always going to be there. And you're going to have uncertainty. There's not even the promise of glory or success or triumph when you get through the other side. What am I pushing toward? You've got all of these questions in your mind, and all of your friends and all of the dynamics and the temptations pull you back toward that. It pulls you back toward the old version of life. This Lonely Chapter is a period through which I think everybody needs to squeeze. Anybody that decides to go from a place they are to a place that they want to be is going to have to let go of people who can't go there with them.
If you didn't withdraw in fear from anything, from everything that life threw at you, who could you become?
The people that you admire, the people you look at, the people who achieve all these amazing things, all of those people along the way have been frustrated a lot, have been angry a lot, have felt demoralized a lot, have felt overwhelmed probably the whole time, okay? Greatness and achievement are not fucking free. They're not free. They come with a price. And in the real world, actions produce the result, not how you feel about it.
If you know that there is something that you're meant to do, if you know that there's something that you're meant to change, you will have to let certain groups, friends, routines, places, activities, recreations that you do, you're going to have to let those go. And there is this, the Rocky cutscene lasts for 90 seconds in the movie, but it can last for 5 years in your life. And you have no idea whether or not it's even going to work. And that's the bit that always got to me. The bit that always got to me was I didn't even know if there was going to be any glory on the other side. It's like ordering an Uber and never knowing if it's going to arrive or not.
And throughout that process of going, whether you're building a business, you're building a family, you're building your body, you're whatever it is that you're doing, I'm telling you right now, man, as a winner, 80% of the time you're going to feel like you're failing. 15% of the time you're going to feel like you're just treading water. You just got your nose above the waterline. 4% of the time you feel like it's fucking over. This is it. I'm about to tap out, but you don't, because that 1% of the time, my friend, that 1% of the time is when you know you're winning. And you go, I'm going to take these 1%ers, I'm going to stack them and stack them and stack them and stack them. And you know what happens when you stack winning over years and decades? You become a fucking formidable force to be reckoned with.
There's a great Chinese expression, a great old proverb. The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is now.
You got to go, man. Never wait on the right time, because the right time ain't ever coming. All that, when we get my ducks lined up in the row, no, you won't. Because as you have aspirations, you got to understand that the devil understands your aspirations too. The devil's job is to rob you of your destiny. So if you're waiting on the right time, you'll never make the move. You have to go.
What you learn to do is, okay, I'm going to go forward. I can't get out of this. I'm going to go forward. I'm not going to quit, so I'm going to go forward. Bring it on. And I think if there's anything that you learn, it's to keep pushing through things that suck. And I would love to say keep pushing through adversity, but this isn't adversity. This is just things that suck. It's one level below adversity. Adversity is when you're having a challenge. This is just something that's gonna suck, and you're gonna have to push through it.
The hero is the person who confronts horrible, chaotic potential and tames it and makes something of it. That's the fundamental human story. But the problem is that you have to face what you don't want to face in order to fix it. So you look at all the things about yourself that need to be burned off, that need to be dispensed with, especially at the beginning, especially if you're screwed up. That might be like 95% of you just has to go up in flames. And it's painful. Even some of that stuff that you have to burn off doesn't want to die, and it'll scream in agony while you're burning it off. It's not pleasant, but if you know that you're the thing that can transcend your problems, most fundamentally, if you know you're the thing that, if it faces the problems, can transcend them, then you have the faith that would enable you to take stock of who you are.
And I think one of the most powerful things that you can cultivate when you cultivate partnership with yourself is being able every single day to have a level of trust in your life, in the magic of things, in yourself, to know that this moment right now is also a dot on the map of your life. And 5, 10, 20 years from now, you will look back on this moment and you will know exactly why this happened. And why it happened is it was preparing you for something. It was giving you a skill or an experience or some wisdom or a relationship that you're gonna need for something extraordinary that's coming. And when you believe that, it gives you the strength to face absolutely anything.
Everything you're going through is God preparing you for where He's taking you.
I'd rather be a failure than a coward. No one wants to say they're afraid, because if you say you're afraid, then it means you're a coward. And I think that it only means you're a coward if you allow that fear to change your behavior in an aversive way, as in it not towards what you want. And I think that when you allow fear to change your behavior the wrong way, that is when you can give yourself that title of coward. That label is almost, I'm more afraid of that label than the label of failure.
Your haters are out there holding their breath, waiting for you to fail. Make sure they suffocate.
Master Bruce? Are you all right, sir?
I'm tired, Alfred.
Oh, I shouldn't wonder. You've taken no meals today. I can't recall when you last slept.
Weary body can be dealt with, but a weary spirit, that's something else.
Rome wasn't built in a day. We all know that. But Rome also didn't fall apart overnight either. It took hundreds of years for Rome to reach its peak, but it also took time, hundreds of years, for Rome to decay and fall apart. That is representative of life, because you don't achieve worthwhile goals quickly or easily. They take time, they take struggle, they take relentless pursuit, day in and day out. That's what it takes. Success and failure are generally slow processes, either slowly building things up or gradually tearing them down.
There's so many men who are waking up complaining about the fact they're not happy, which is the strangest mindset I think a man can have. Because as a man, how happy you are has absolutely nothing to do with how you live your life and how you perform and what you need to do. How happy you are is a pointless measurement, so why do you even measure it at all?
I've lost in kickboxing, I've lost in boxing, I've lost in life, I've lost in love, I've lost in family. Like, life is, you don't just win all the time, it's wins and losses, so you roll with the punches.
If you were to go back in time and have a conversation with your 20-year-old self, when you were starting from zero, what's the best advice you would give to your younger self?
If a bird lands on the branch, does the bird trust the branch or does it trust its wings? And the clue, I've seen many birds land on branches, but what I've never seen is a branch break and the bird fall and die. Trust your wings.
The harder it is for you to break free of whatever kind of mental prison you've made for yourself, whether that's real or just in your head, the more compelling your story will be when you break through it.
I look at myself as a seeker. I seek, I understand in order to be a master, you have to be a fool at first. And I'm willing, but not many people are willing to go through that journey of being a fool. They want to be the master, but don't want to work through the process.
I tell people to write things down. I say one of the best ways to get things done is to write things down. Write down what you're trying to get done. Write down what you need to get done on a long-term basis and what you need to get done on a short-term basis. And write off a checklist. Force yourself. Be accountable.
The most important question to ask yourself is, what pain are you willing to endure in your life, rather than what pleasure do you want? Because any pleasure or any pursuit that you want is going to come with an in-kind payment of pain.
Sometimes life is like this dark tunnel. You can't always see the light at the end of the tunnel, but if you just keep moving, you will come to a better place.
The superpower of learning to be alone and enjoying it. Well, I think it's critical, and I do think that these times where you just think about things, just be alone and think about things, are so rare these days. And I think during those rare times is when you really get to understand what you actually believe or don't believe.
I came up with a mantra for me at that time, which was fuck happiness. That was basically like this release moment for me, where by continually chasing happiness, it always existed outside of me. And so it was always this carrot that was in front of me that I could never really get to. I was like, it's unattainable. I'm just gonna work, and I'm just gonna do the stuff I wanna do. And when I started doing the stuff that I wanted to do, I looked up years later and I was like, I actually kind of like my life. And I was like, is this what happiness is? I think
In order to achieve anything that you care about, there is going to be an associated amount of shit that you need to eat. If you want to take on the burden of trying to achieve something in life which is meaningful to you, accept that the shit eating is not a bug, it is a feature. It is a part and parcel of existing. You're a finite creature with an infinite complexity around you. Of course you're going to be scared.
A lot of this isn't your fault, why you do some things you do, why you feel the way you feel. But no one's coming back to save your ass. You have to go back to where the shit started, wherever that place is for everybody, and have the courage to go back there and start fixing what broke you.
Each of us lives dependent and bound by our individual knowledge and our awareness. All that is what we call reality. However, both knowledge and awareness are equivocal. One's reality might be another's illusion. We all live inside our own fantasies.
Don't wait. Life is happening. There is a strange feeling that one is not yet in real life. For the time being, one is doing this or that, but there is always the fantasy that sometime in future, the real thing will come about. The common feeling that your life has not begun, that your present reality is a mere prelude to some idyllic future. This idyll is a mirage that will fade as you approach, revealing that the prelude you rushed through was in fact the one to your death.
Life is so difficult and challenging that unless you give it everything you have, the chances are very high that it will embitter you, and then you'll be a force for darkness and not good. You know, the fact that life is short and can be brutal can terrify you into hiding and avoiding, but it can also, you can flip that on its head and understand that since you're all in anyways, you might as well take the risks that are adventurous. And that's a very good thing to understand. And what is also useful to understand in that manner is that there isn't anything more adventurous than the truth.
You said one time that one of the things you've learned is that to succeed greatly, you have to be willing to fail greatly.
Oh, 100%. No one failed more than I did. I deserved all the credit I received. Nobody's seen more than I've seen. None of these fighters, none of these athletes. I'm the king of the barbarians. There's no one that could surpass me in the pain I've endured.
That brings up, obviously, tough memories for you, that pain.
Yeah, that's probably so. But I can deal with it, I can handle it.
Seems like it's a good deal in the past?
Nah, it's never in the past.
What I see today is that everything's possible in this world for those who don't quit on themselves or their dreams. I've learned to reach higher and higher with our dreams, to become more ridiculous with our dreams, because they're all possible.
Believe in yourself. Don't fear failure. Dream big. Work hard. Stay positive. Enjoy the journey.
You know, sometimes all you need is 20 seconds of insane courage. Just literally 20 seconds of just embarrassing bravery. And I promise you, something great will come of it.
Patience. Patience is a skill we must master. Patience is one of the most valuable skills a human being must master.
The magic you are looking for is in the work you're avoiding.
And so by pushing through the tired, you actually create a gap between you and everybody else that you're competing with. And here's another thing that happens when you're tired. Because no one else ever pushes through when they're tired, and because you're someone that always pushes through when you're tired, you learn this unique skill set that allows you to operate at a high level when you're tired, okay? And that's a huge competitive advantage over everybody else.
It's all about focus. I don't care who you are, where you're from, doesn't matter. It's having a focus and having a purpose. Right? You wake up every single day to get better today than you were yesterday. It doesn't matter what you are. You're a basketball player, a hockey player, golf player, painter, right? It doesn't matter. Right? You try to reach your full potential by getting better every single day, and that's the quest.
The first question is, what is the best advice you've ever heard or received?
Believe in yourself.
Second question, what is the worst advice you've ever heard or received?
It can't be done.
If you want to be certain or have confidence in any endeavor, you have to do so much volume of activity that it would be unreasonable that you would suck. And if you were to write out the equation of like, okay, how many public speeches would I need to give for it to be unreasonable that I would suck? Is it 10? Is it 100? Is it 1,000? Write the number that you're like, there's no way that I would suck after this many. And then all of your effort gets really narrowed, commitment, elimination of alternatives, focus, turn down quality and quantity of other things, to just doing that. Even if you're starting out, you can have confidence in what you're doing because you derived the solution. You can actually answer why you do something. If you cannot explain why you believe what you believe, it's not your belief, it's someone else's.
Work like hell. I mean, you just have to put in, 80 to 100 hour weeks every week. If other people are putting in 40-hour work weeks and you're putting in 100-hour work weeks, then even if you're doing the same thing, you know that in 1 year, you will achieve in 4 months what it takes them a year to achieve.
I bet you and I have a lot in common. We're not the strongest, smartest, or richest people we know. We're not the fastest or most connected. We're not the best looking or most talented. We don't have the best genetics. But what we do have is something a lot of those other people will never have: the will to work.
Choosing the plan isn't hard. Doing the plan isn't hard. Sticking to the plan is hard.
So if you're in your 20s and you're thinking, I'm not making a lot of money, I'm having trouble having a nice life, I'm not entirely sure what I want to do, then you are exactly where you should be. Your 20s are for workshopping. Forgive yourself, but keep trying. Reach out to people for help. Show up. Get the easy shit right. Show up early. Be courteous. Be kind. Think about, how do I get more certification? And then the moment you lock in on something that you're good at and could become great at, go all in on it.
You got to stop with all this I can't catch a break bullshit. All the time you're complaining, you could be instead hustling. You could be instead chasing your dream. You could be instead figuring out what you're doing wrong, trying to improve certain aspects of your life, getting your shit together, reading a book, meditating, fucking something. But this I can't catch a break shit is not helping anybody, and it pushes everybody away from you.
You're always afraid to take the first step because all you see is every negative thing 10 miles down the road. But you can do anything you want. You are bound by nothing.
If there's one unavoidable truth in this world, it's that there is no substitute for putting in the work. There is no shortcut or growth hack or magic pill that can get you around the hard work of doing your job well, of winning something you care about, or of making your dreams come true. People have tried to cut corners and skip steps in this process for as long as hard work has been hard. Eventually, those people either fall behind or get left in the dust, because working your ass off is the only thing that works 100% of the time for 100% of the things worth achieving. Work works. That is the bottom line. No matter what you do, no matter who you are, my entire life has been shaped by that single idea.
The hard part about the plan is sticking to the plan. The plan wasn't bad. Your first plan was good because it's easy to go say, I'm going to work out 3 days a week for the next year. A mediocre plan that's stuck to always outperforms an amazing and perfect plan that you never stick with to begin with. You have to stick it out long enough that you get that first carrot, you get that first cookie, and then all of a sudden, everything that you did to get there, you're like, oh, more of that will get me more cookies.
Stop taking things so seriously. No one is getting out of this game alive, literally. In 3 generations, no one will even remember your name. And if that doesn't give you liberation to just drop your fucking problems and find some joy, I don't know what will. Life is inherently ridiculous and guaranteed to end sooner or later, so you might as well enjoy the ride.
I've fucked up everything I've ever done 100 times. There's no other way to do it. And I've had a bunch of shitty breaks. Everybody has. But you gotta realize when you have those shitty breaks what that is. It's an opportunity for you to reassess, reboot, get better, figure out another way, find another way through. It's just little challenges. And the people that look at those challenges and go, why do I always have these challenges? They're cancer. Those people are dangerous to be around. They will rob you of your enthusiasm. They don't give you any fuel. They're the opposite of fuel.
If you believe in yourself, and you actually believe, if you genuinely believe in yourself, you are 75% already there towards your goals. You will accomplish them. If you believe yourself, put in the work, it's done.
Life's gonna be weird for you. You're gonna experience some pain, but eventually if you stick it out and do something big, we're all gonna read about it. Just want you to know about this. We're all gonna read about it, whether it's in business, whether it's in sales, whether you're gonna be somebody that your family's gonna have the picture on the wall because you're the family that changed the entire legacy, whether we're gonna find out about what you did in a company that took you to the next level because you wouldn't stop until you figured out exactly the solution, how to fix that one problem that the company's had for the last decade, and your obsessive personality finally figured it out. Either a community, a family, a generation, a city, a state, a country, a nation, the globe is going to find out about your story because people like you don't know how to stop.
Every failed experiment is one step closer to success.
You've got to take risks, and I'm sure you've probably heard that before, but I want to talk to you about why that's so important. You will fail at some point in your life. Accept it. You will lose. You will embarrass yourself. You will suck at something. I'm telling you, embrace it, because it's inevitable. Fall forward. This is what I mean. Reggie Jackson struck out 2,600 times in his career, the most in the history of baseball. But you don't hear about the strikeouts. People remember the home runs. Fall forward. Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 failed experiments. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Because the 1,001st was the light bulb.
The biggest risk to your future isn't your competition. It's the distractions you insist on keeping in your life rather than doing the things you know you should be doing but aren't. People delay doing things they don't like for longer than it takes to do them.
That work, the work you know you should be doing but aren't, is the opportunity, because that is the work that your competitors also aren't doing. And I'm telling you from the bottom of my soul, it is so easy to beat people today. They are so soft. They have no work ethic. No one can stick with anything. Everyone's distracted. They're on social media. They're counting their fucking notifications because they can't stick with shit. They can't say no.
Look in the mirror. See yourself for who you really are. You got to tell yourself the truth. So look in the mirror, look at yourself in the eyes and tell yourself the truth. Who are you? Are you doing what you should be doing? Are you working hard enough to become who you know you should become?
If you're going to do it, do it. Say what you can do what you say. If you can't do it, don't say you can do it. Don't over-leverage yourself. Don't over-leverage a decision and then jump in and kind of dip a toe. I think I'll try it out. No, think if you're going to try it out beforehand, but when it's time to go, dive.
The master key to riches is self-discipline. And what we have found is that the most successful people have come to that conclusion as well, is that self-discipline is the master key to success. So for you to write down your goals and make a plan and set priorities and start with your most important task takes tremendous self-discipline. If you haven't done it up to now, it's so hard. But Goethe said everything is hard before it's easy. And everything at the beginning is difficult, but later it becomes easy and automatic.
Whenever you wake up in the morning, today is going to be a great day. You have to nudge your brain, right? We have a conscious mind, we have an unconscious mind, we have a self-image, and your subconscious is paying attention to the words that the conscious mind is saying. And so if you're like, oh, I don't want to get out of bed, today is going to be a bad day, you're going to have a bad day because you just programmed your subconscious mind to do that.
There's also a section of men who just feel alone, like myself, who felt like they have to carry stuff in and they need to be X, Y, and Z to be like good enough. I heard a lot of people be like, I can go in the gym and just forget about everything. I'm like, that's great. The gym's an amazing tool for that. But you still need to go back and feel that shit eventually because it's not going away. A good workout doesn't make the stress at home better now.
It's a traumatic thing for your friends and family to fucking think you're a piece of shit and to think you're a failure and to think you're a up when you're struggling your ass off to try to build shit, bro. That's a traumatic thing. You're like, nobody's here for me. And it's a very real lesson in life because guess what? Nobody is here for you. There's nobody here for you. You have to put this on your back and carry it. And if you don't, you will not get there. That's the bottom line.
So it's how I started talking to myself and putting myself in a whole different category, and that would fuel me the next day. And I just kept using that as fuel. No one would do this shit. No one would do this shit. You're the baddest motherfucker around. You're the baddest motherfucker ever lived. And I just kept fueling me with the right kind of message that I needed to hear that I was never telling myself. And through time, it became reality.
Everybody deserves to eat. Not everybody deserves to eat at your table. Who you invest your time with and spend your time with, is it valuable or are you just wasting time? Don't waste your time. Time is the most valuable thing that you have. Every moment should be accounted for. You should feel great about. You learned something. If you're not learning, you're dying.
A negative mind will find any way to make the world fit his priors.
Right.
So if you go into a situation adamant that you are unlovable, unwanted, broken, flawed, insufficient, you will manage to warp reality to be able to fit what you already believe.
You have to take yourself seriously. You have to know that you're a monster and that you're capable of terrible things and that you have a responsibility to understand that, to incorporate it, to constrain it and to discipline it, and then to work for the alleviation of suffering and the constraint of malevolence. And if you understand that, then it can turn your life into a noble enterprise.
But if you believe that you're good at what you do,
and you strive to be good at what you do, you don't need to worry about what other people think. You need to be able to understand that you have your own confidence that you can do whatever it is you're required to do, and other people will see that confidence in you.
Just eliminate all external distractions, that's what's going on, and just focus on the process itself and enjoying it every single day. Chopping wood, carrying water. Greatness is not meant for a few chosen people. It's meant for those who persistently pursue their dreams every day and make that choice when they wake up.
Be grateful for the problems that you have, because I believe they're specifically designed for you, your growth, your development, and the things that you need to possess as an individual in order to grow and become the individual that you're destined to become.
If you're in a spot and you don't know what to do, and you're not sure where to go, and you don't know where the right direction is, start walking and start looking for opportunities, and they'll show up.
The minute you start doubting yourself, other people will see that you're doubting yourself, and that becomes a weakness in your personality. So you always want to be confident in everything you do, that you can do it, you can get it done, you'll find a way to get it done.